the time Wilma. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, good morning everyone. Good morning Bu Maya. Good morning Bapak dan Ibu semuanya. First of all, I wanna say sorry because I turn off the camera. Here the connection is very bad, but I'll try my best and I hope everything gonna be okay. Okay, here I'll elaborate one of our discussion topic in this meeting, and the topic is lots and hots, and I'll try to explain the introduction first. Wilma, sorry, can you zoom out? Bu Rifa ya, maaf. Yeah, thank you. In education, developing critical thinking and problem-solving abilities is crucial for students to succeed in various aspects of life. To achieve this, educators often employ different strategies to engage a student in meaningful learning experience. Two key concepts that are essential in promoting critical thinking and problem-solving are lower-order thinking skill or lot and high-order thinking skill atau hot. Sorry. The first one is lots and the second one is hot. Bapak dan Ibu semuanya, discussing these two thinking skill of course cannot be separated from Bloom taxonomy. Purpose cognitive taxonomy consists with critical thinking and the hierarchy of educational learning. And then deriving meaning from messages or interaction involving a process like interpreting and then amplifying, classifying, summarizing, inferring, comparing, and explaining, and then using specific procedure or method to solve problem, encompassing, executing, and implementing, and then breaking down material into part and determining their relationship, including process like differentiating and then organizing and attributing, and then making judgment based on critical and standards such as quality and then efficiency and consistency involving checking and critiquing. And the last is integrating element into
Will be delivered by Burifa. Time is yours, Burifa.
Okay, thank you, Kayuma, for moderating this presentation. Well, in this section, I will examine the characteristic of lots and HOTS. Lower order thinking skills or lots are crucial in the foundational stages of learning. According to Nurjana, lots type questions typically assess the three lowest cognitive abilities: remembering, understanding, and re-explaining information. These types of questions can be easily answered through memorization of theory. Students using lots methods acquire information by copying, imitating, memorizing, recalling, and following instructions from others. This assessment of lots measures knowledge at three levels: C1, remembering; C2, understanding; and C3, application. As highlighted by Sofyan and Subhan, these skills help students gain a deep understanding of the concept taught. Saparlis also points out that lots require basic memory of information or simple application of known theories in familiar context. As importantly, lots form the foundation necessary for students before they can move on to higher order thinking skills. Complex thinking requires a solid understanding of basic concepts, making lots and HOTS inseparable components in effective teaching and learning. Okay, next. No, wait. Uh, Moving on to higher order thinking skills or HOTS. According to Gunawan, HOTS involve processes where students manipulate information and ideas to gain new understanding and implication. HOTS extend beyond more memorization and involve interpreting the essence of information, including analytical, synthesis, and associative abilities, leading to creative and productive ideas. HOTS can be broken down into three main components: analysis, evaluation, and creation. I mean, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Analyzing the process of breaking down complex information or concepts into smaller, more manageable parts to understand their structure and relationships. Task example. Students analyze the novel's themes, character development, and plot structure. They break down the characters' motivations and how these motivations drive the story forward. They identify key themes and provide examples from the text to support their analysis. And students could analyze The Great Gatsby, the famous novel, by looking closely at its themes, character development, and storyline. Students could analyze Gatsby's motivations and his pursuit of wealth and love, or its themes like American Dream. They could examine how Gatsby's background and desires shapes his decision through the novel and how his actions affect the story. They could identify important themes like so, American Dream was and his personal identity using specific examples from the book. For instance, they might discuss how Gatsby's lavish parties and romantic gestures for Daisy reveal his longing for better life and social acceptance. The second one, evaluating. Evaluating is the process of making judgments about the value, credibility, or effectiveness of information, arguments, or outcomes. Task example, students evaluate the effectiveness of the author's choices and the overall impact of the novel. They critique the author's use of symbolism and assess how well the setting contributes to the mood and the believability of character interactions. Okay, task example. Students the students could evaluate The Great Gatsby by assessing how well Fitzgerald's choice, the author's choices, contribute to the story's impact. They critique aspects like the use of symbols, the portrayal of the 1920s jazz age, and the believability of the characters. They could discuss where these symbols effectively enhance the themes of hope and moral decay. Additionally, they could consider how the author's portrayal of characters like Gatsby and Daisy reflects the societal values and aspirations of the time. Okay, now is creating. Creating is the process of combining different ideas, information, or elements to form a coherent whole. For instance, students synthesize information from the novel to create a new interpretation or piece of writing. They might write an alternate ending for the novel, ensuring it aligns with the established themes and character arcs, or combine elements from another book to create a comparative essay. Okay, the students could create an alternate ending for The Great Gatsby, imagining different outcomes for the characters based on their analysis of the story. For instance, they might write an ending where Gatsby achieves his goals but realizes the emptiness of his pursuits. Alternatively, they could compare how the American dream is portrayed in The Great Gatsby and Of Mice and Men. novel by John Steinbeck, highlighting the similarities and differences in how each author critiques society's pursuit of success and happiness. Okay, now is characteristic of HOTS. Wait. Suyitno, as cited in Gradini, listed several characteristics of HOTS questions, including that they are non-routine, problem-solving in nature, require higher order thinking skills, often need two or more formulas, involve interpretation and application of concepts in various contexts, promote creative thinking skills, and furthermore, HUT's questions should start with a stimulus that represents real life events. The assessment of HUTs aims to measure knowledge at the level of analysis, evaluation, and creation. HUT's question evaluate metacognitive dimension, connecting different concepts, interpreting information, solving problems, selecting strategies, discovering new methods, arguing, and making appropriate decisions. And Adi Gunawan delineation of higher order thinking skills as referenced in High-end study illustrate how these skills manifest in students' cognitive abilities through analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Analyzing involves generating questions, conducting investigation, creating charts and graphs, reviewing criteria, and preparing reports. While evaluating, including listing evaluation criteria, engaging in debates and discussion, preparing case studies, and drawing general conclusion. Whereas creating, including creating models, designing plans, formulating hypotheses, modifying old patterns, proposing methods, and assigning new titles. So this concludes my part of the presentation. The next presenter will continue from here. Back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Purifa, for the clear explanation. Okay, for the next explanation will be delivered by Bu Saraswati. Time is yours, Bu Saraswati.
Thank you, Bu Ilma. Okay, hello everyone. Good morning. Now I want to try to explain about the importance of lower order thinking skills and higher order thinking skills. Now I will talk first about importance of lower order thinking skills or LOTS. So as we already learned in the previous chapters, LOTS in learning is necessary for foundational learning and knowledge acquisition, meaning to say that students still need lots content so that they can get basic knowledge about a material. And in the Bloom's taxonomy, lots falls into three levels. The first three levels, which are remember, understand, and apply. And Ahmad stated that in lots, it is important to remember and comprehend the materials that have been learned. And the reasons why lots is important for the students are because they will need to remember the knowledge that they have acquired in class, and then they will need to understand a material and comprehend a text, and they also will need to apply their knowledge by carrying out or using it in a given situation. So it's important for them to have basic knowledge, and lots can help the students with basic knowledge on a certain material given in class. And these days, maybe maybe lots content or questions are um, what is it, underestimated, I guess. Yeah, because the teachers were more focused on HOTS. Yeah, but lots is still needed in the classroom so that students can retrieve basic knowledge on the material, and it can help the students to gain their knowledge first before doing any critical thinking. Okay, next I will talk about the importance of HOTS. Higher order thinking skills, or HOTS, it requires students to construct their own understanding and apply their knowledge in new situations. And uh, these kind of skills are crucial for developing critical thinking, yeah, in learning. And it encompasses logical thinking, critical thinking, and reasoning, which are all beneficial for everyday life when the students are faced with real life situations. And in Bloom's taxonomy, HOTS falls into the next three levels after that, which are analyze, evaluate, and create. And HOTS is important because the students will have to analyze materials and breaking them down and understanding the relationships. And the students will have to make judgments based on criteria and standards. They also will have to use their knowledge to create original work. Okay, next. And HOTS are important, in learning because it will help the students to hone. Hone means mengasah their logical and critical thinking skills, which are, I've already said, required in daily life situations. And with the demands of digital era, these days, HOTS is needed so that the students will have a decent level of communication, critical thinking, and creativity. So to summarize, LOTS and HOTS are very essential in education. LOTS will help the students to have basic knowledge, on certain topics, certain materials, and after they gain the basic knowledge, the students can then analyze, making a critical thinking, logical reasoning, something like that, and creating new ideas from the knowledge that they have acquired. Okay, next, I will talk about the strategies for teaching LOTS. Okay, there are several ways that teachers can apply into their teaching when they want to teach LOTS. First, we have flashcards, quizzes, and rote memorization. Okay, these kind of learning methods can help the students in learning and acquiring basic knowledge. Yeah, I said basic knowledge a lot. Okay, and the reason why these methods are suitable for LOTS is because they fall into the remember category or level in Bloom's taxonomy, and these kind of methods are usually applied, or in English, they are usually applied in learning vocabulary. And for example, flashcards. Maybe some of you already know about flashcards. Flashcards usually have pictures, and they are shown quickly in front of the students, and the students have to guess the word in the picture. For example, we have picture of cars. We show them to the students, and the students will have to answer quickly. That's why it's called flashcards, because the student have to answer it in a flash. And we also have quizzes. These days there are a lot of quizzes website that we can give to the students. For example, in teaching vocabulary, giving quick quizzes, like maybe in Kahoot or Quizzes or other websites. We can jog and train their memory to memorize a certain word. and what a certain word means for the students so that they can practice their knowledge they have acquired before in class and apply it in answering the questions. And practice exercises, they have many forms. It can be in the form of reading and comprehension, grammar, or fill in the blanks, which will get the students to apply their acquired knowledge, and therefore it will give the students the opportunity to put the material into their memories. And the last strategy for teaching lots is direct teaching. Yeah, and it is a common learning method, which requires the teacher to teach directly in front of the class and present information to the students. And in order to get the students to get their information on the material, the direct teaching method is suitable since the teachers can give many exercises, materials repeatedly, over and over again, and to make sure that the students can completely acquire the information or knowledge. And let's go to the next chapter, which is the strategies for teaching HOTS. First, we have debates, discussions, and problem-solving activities. Since HOTS is all about logical and critical thinking, doing class activities like debates, discussions, and problem-solving activities help them to can help the students to achieve the what is tujuan pembelajaran, that. And debates, first, the debates are common in learning persuasive and argumentative texts. By doing debates, the students can practice their speaking skill and vocabulary skill so that they can create thoughts and ideas to encounter their opposing team. And in having discussions on certain topics or materials, the students can learn to communicate and collaborate with their peers to achieve the means of studying. Also, this is tujuan pembelajaran in English is the means of studying. And problem-solving activities are effective to teach the students to find their own solution while still applying the knowledge that they have learned before. Okay, next. And next is project-based learning. It is also a suitable method to teach the students HOTS. And in project-based learning, or PBL, it involves the students to design, develop, and construct solutions to a problem. And they may present their solutions in a project or a presentation. And the last strategy for teaching HOTS is questioning. So Harvey and Goodfish, as cited in Indriana and Kuswandono, they stated that questioning process requires the students to ask themselves with questions that can pique their critical thinking to enhance their understanding, meaning construction, problem solving, answer finding, and new information discovery. So in teaching, the teachers can use questioning to review, to examine, and to challenge the students. With HOTS questions, students can improve their understanding and help them to hone their logical, and critical thinking skills in the process so that they can improve their understanding on the lesson. That's all for me. Thank you so much. I will get it back to the moderator.
To make it simple, in summary, integrating lower order thinking skill lots and higher order thinking skill HOTS is crucial for students' development. Starting with lots, building a strong knowledge foundation, enabling students to handle complex tasks, introducing HOTS, stroke analytical, evaluating, and creative text, and critical thinking. Using various assessment such as test for loss and project for HOTS ensures comprehensive evaluation. This approach effectively nurtures both types of thinking skill, preparing students for success in complex, fast-changing world in today's world. Okay, there are references that we
For us to implement lot and hot all at once in one class. Let's say in the 7th grade, we assess using lot and also hot at the same times, or we have to separate. For example, only lot or only hot. Thank you.
okay. Pak Yudin, you can answer.
Yes. Boleh, Bu. Okay. In my opinion, talking about hots and lots when sorry, I'll try to answer in bahasa Indonesia. Hot sama lots, apakah itu misal bisa diterapkan dalam bersamaan ataupun misal harus dipisah? Itu kan pertanyaan Pak Darlis. Kemudian kata Boang tadi, apakah itu memungkinkan misal di grade yang bawah atau misal harus yang atas atau gimana? Nah, menurut pendapat saya sepertinya ini kita harus dilihat dulu dari background anaknya. Misal ketika kita mengajar lots sama hots yang anak-anak yang memang udah native speaker misal yang ada di Amerika sama yang Indonesia, levelnya akan berbeda. Kemudian dalam sebuah kelas juga anak-anak kan secara kemampuan tidak sama, ada yang high, ada yang middle, and then ada yang lower. Jadi mungkin kita bisa melihat dari backgroundnya dulu, karena bisa aja mungkin yang ini untuk anak SD ini hots, tapi untuk yang sudah misal yang senior high school ini bukan hots, misal contohnya seperti itu pendapat saya. Lalu apakah bisa dipisah atau harus disamakan? Sepertinya ini bisa saja disatukan, karena ketika misal kita belajar dalam mengajar di sebuah kelas itu kan terdapat sebuah proses pembelajaran yang sangat panjang, kemudian terdapat banyak proses, for example like yang remembering, kemudian yang di awal misal yang tadi saya jelaskan yang hanya nanya vocab, kemudian mulai dari for example misal kita ngajar anak-anak misal menyuruh untuk merangkum sebuah rangkuman dari teks, kemudian mungkin ada aja beberapa anak yang ternyata tidak tahu
learning. The first is differentiation in content, the second one is differentiation in process, and then the third is differentiation in product. We all know about that. So if we ignore about the product, why must be differentiation in product in learning curriculum Merdeka? Yeah, it makes me still confused about lots and hots. In what condition we should force our learners who have low competency in their thinking skill, vice versa. In what condition should we follow our students or our learners who have high or great competencies in lots? I need your explanation.
To give my opinion about curriculum Merdeka, from the Mr. Setia said that why there is a differentiate from product. The point of differentiate in product, we can we as a teacher, we can focus on the level of the student. I mean that if we have lower students, so we can give lower order thinking skills tasks or assignment for only lower student, and the higher student we can give higher order thinking skills task or assignment. So in the result we just focus on their task only. I mean that we cannot force the higher order thinking skill task for the lower order thinking student. I mean that jika kita memberikan soalnya dua macam, ada lots, ada hots, jadi hanya untuk lots saja kita berikan untuk yang lower student saja. Jadi pas pemberian hasil nilainya, pas pemberian hasil produknya bagaimana? Jadi kita hanya fokuskan saja, tidak semua jenis soal dari 10 soal misalkan di dalam sumatif misalkan. Dari 10 soal ada misalkan 5 soal untuk lower, ada HOTS-nya ada 5 soal. Jadi pas kita penilaian, tidak semua soal itu kita fokuskan untuk semua student. Jadi 5 soal yang lots itu tetap kita fokuskan untuk hanya anak siswa. Misalkan si A dia berada di level lot student misalkan. Di level lots assignment. Jadi pas kita pemberian nilai kita tidak bisa menyamakan between lots and HOTS assignment. So we just focus on their task only. Jadi pas pemberian di dalam hasil akhirnya nilai lots itu benar-benar untuk lower. Jadi mereka misalkan di dalam tasnya misalkan di dalam reading kita berikan nilainya kita berikan soal yang benar-benar di taraf yang di level lots. Jadi biarkan saja mereka nilainya mereka bisa menguasai. Misalkan nilai 5 dari 5 soal itu si A ini berada di lower order thinking skill itu mendapatkan nilai 85 misalkan. Ya biarkan saja mereka karena mereka berada di lot saja. Jadi yang higher itu tetap mereka diberikan soal yang tinggi juga yang di HOTS. Jadi tidak bisa kita paksakan semua siswa itu 10 soal harus mereka semua mengerjakan padahal mereka memiliki level yang berbeda. Saya rasa seperti itu kalau menurut pendapat saya, my point of view. Jadi tidak harus si A ini yang berada misalkan rata-ratanya cuma sekedar bisa dapat 5 soal yang lots. Tidak bisa kita paksakan mereka, tidak bisa kita force mereka untuk menjawab soal higher order thinking skill. Jadi seperti yang Ibu Ilma bilang tadi, mereka terbiasa dulu, mereka memiliki step by step untuk bisa mengerjakan higher order thinking skill. Jadi pas di hasil akhirnya tetap saja nanti kan muncul, kalau tidak salah saya di rapor kurikulum Merdeka itu ada nanti muncul si A bisa menguasai di kompetensi ini ya gitu nah maksudnya. Kalau menurut saya seperti itu Pak Setia. Jadi tidak bisa kita dari 10 soal atau 20 soal itu semua taraf soalnya sama. Jadi 5 soal inilah oke lah kita kasih soalnya untuk lower student. Jadi mereka bakalan menguasai nilai 5 soal lots tadi. Jadi yang selebihnya untuk higher order thinking skill biar saja mereka siswa yang pinter-pinter saja yang bisa ngerjakan. Itu maksudnya. Oke, mungkin ada yang mau menambahkan?
Okay, wait, Kakak Osi. In the previous, I think the same opinion, the same perception about lots and HOTS for our learners. But sometimes I think for our learners who have low competencies, they will never involve in HOTS activity. We just give them lots every time. So once more I say that it makes me confused still about HOTS and lots for our differentiate learners, because I think that every time is if we just give our slow or our low competence learners with lots activity.
Halo Pak Setia. We're losing your voice Pak Setia.
Untuk apa tuh? Trouble connection. I turn off my camera because I know that you will disturb me. Mama matikan kameranya.
Halo Pak Setia. I think he's having trouble in connecting. Okay, and I couldn't explain or give some answer for Pak Setia's question because he needs to listen the explanation. So I think Pak Dalis, you raise your hand. Any thought, Pak Dalis?
Yeah, Bu, relate with Pak Setia's questions. From my point of view, that in implementation of lots and HOTS, there are many things that we have to consider. Jadi ada banyak yang harus dipertimbangkan, misalnya tingkat kemampuan siswa, katakanlah misalnya lots itu sebenarnya kalau menurut saya hanya memungkinkan diterapkan di tingkat-tingkat dasar dan menengah. Itu yang paling bagus. Kemudian juga we also have to consider about the lesson, pelajarannya. Kalau misalnya pelajaran kosakata, ya tidak terlalu applicable untuk misalnya kita terapkan HOTS, karena pelajaran kosakata kan tidak membutuhkan analisis, terlalu membutuhkan analisis. Kalau misalnya pembelajaran yang memang membutuhkan analisis, itu yang baru cocok dengan HOTS karena dia levelnya level analysis. Terus misalnya kalau anaknya SD, mereka kan lebih banyak menghafal, so itu kompatibel dengan LOTS yang memorizing, understanding. Kalau misalnya anak SD nanti suruh analisis, mereka juga nanti akan bingung. Jadi HOTS itu lebih kompatibel misalnya di katakanlah SMA dengan universitas yang memang kematangan kognitifnya sudah bisa berpikir, sudah bisa menganalisa, dan ya, dia berangkat dari pemahaman. Kalau misalnya yang dibawa-bawa lebih banyak kompatibel dengan LOTS. Kemudian kalau misalnya Bu Osi tadi mengatakan bahwa di kurikulum Merdeka itu lebih fokus pada proses, berarti itu kan lebih banyak masuknya di formative assessment. Karena kalau summative assessment dia kan berbicara tentang hasil akhir. Saya kira begitu kalau saya.
Bu Ilma, Bu Rifa, Pak Wahyudin, or Bu Saras, do you want to answer or provide comment to Pak Daris' statement?
Bu Wawang, raise your hand.
So after listening your explanation, sepertinya kepala saya agak terbalik cara berpikirnya sekarang. Jadi tadinya I imagine that analysis itu yang berat-berat, kemudian creation yang berat-berat, ternyata yang analisa sederhana berdasarkan umur dan kognitif siswa pun sudah masuk dengan masuk kajian analisis dan creation. Nah, mungkin I have one question, bagaimana misalnya dengan pelajaran yang sepertinya hanya butuh jawaban langsung, katakanlah misalnya kosakata begitu Bu, vocabulary. Karena saya sekarang berpikir sepertinya memang lebih bagus, bagaimana ya maksudnya, sepertinya HOTS ini yang justru mestinya diperbanyak kalau mendengarkan penjelasan Ibu tadi. Karena ini lebih mungkin stimulate our student to elaborate their thoughts dan semacamnya. Cuma mungkin ada beberapa pelajaran yang sepertinya katakanlah senada dengan pertanyaan tadi, di mana tinggal atau siapa nama bapaknya, katakanlah analoginya begitu ya Bu ya, misalnya pembelajaran dalam kosakata gitu yang sepertinya harusnya hanya dihafal saja lalu kemudian diulang, ini kan masuk dalam ranah LOTS. Nah, bagaimana kita merubah itu menjadi HOTS misalnya supaya dia bisa masuk dalam kajian HOTS? Apakah bisa seperti itu atau kita tetap pada lot saja yang misalnya yang vocabulary atau apa segala macam? Terima kasih Bu.
Tadi sebenarnya kalau yang saya sampaikan Pak Dalis, ketika misalnya penempatan HOTS itu di formative kemudian lots itu disamatif, itu berarti tergantung tujuannya, tujuan diberikannya. Kira-kira kalau lots itu misalnya Pak Daris hanya ingin melihat bahwa siswa itu mengukur kemampuan siswa, itu kan berarti sudah sumatif ya. Ketika mengukur kemampuan siswa, bisa jadi Pak Daris hanya tinggal memberikan lot saja. Tapi ketika ingin akhirnya melihat apakah sejauh mana siswa itu mengerti, kemudian bagaimana si penilaian itu bisa akhirnya memberikan masukan ke dalam pembelajaran mereka, itu kan formatif berarti. Jadi I think mana yang lebih long term? Menurut saya kan yang memang anak-anak itu belajar yang bisa jadi kayak grammar ya, Pak Dalis. Saya di dulu SMK bahasa Inggris kelas 10 berarti ya sekarang. Kelas 10 kalau sekarang. Itu 1 tahun kalau nggak salah, saya hanya diminta guru bahasa Inggris itu mengubah dari aktif ke pasif. Itu saja. Setiap minggu. Bisa jadi sampai sekarang kayaknya memang nempel itu. Dan pada akhirnya tapi ketika saya berpikir lagi, itu kan tidak recall ya, tapi apply. Itu kayak apply sederhana bahwa kita sudah tahu formulanya nih. Misalnya formula mengubah dari aktif ke pasif itu apa, kita terapkan dengan mengubah kalimat. Itu sudah sebenarnya sudah sederhana. Cuman mungkin kalau sekarang levelnya kita lihat tingkat tadi, kalau Pak Daris mengatakan tingkat kognitif siswanya, apakah memang kira-kira nih mau lebih mendalam, misalnya in grammar analysis, I think in module 1, if I'm not mistaken, you were asked, why do we study grammar? Do we still need to study grammar or not? Ini masih perdebatan dan saya lebih ke kubu yang tidak perlu diajarkan grammar kepada siswa. Kenapa anak saya bisa belajar bahasa Inggris dan sekarang itu jadi their first language, bahasa Inggris itu saya tidak ajarkan mereka. Oke, simple past tense, formulanya subject plus verb to. Kalau simple present tense, formulanya subject plus verb 1. Kalau he, she, and is ditambah s atau is misalnya. I didn't teach that way, but learning by doing. Yeah, they will catch up the pattern by themselves. Even though they don't know the pattern. For example, my first child, what I encounter is, saya pernah bercerita nggak ya? I'm sholating. Gitu. Karena dia berpikirnya bahwa ini sebagai simple present continuous tense misalnya yang harus ditambahkan ing gitu ya. She catch up her own pattern. Jadi saya berpikir tidak perlu diajarkan grammar itu. Ya, Bu Ilma.
Sampai sekarang pun saya juga tetap ditanya sama siswa-siswa saya, karena I don't teach in school ya, di bimbel. Yang saya ajarkan juga simple present, simple past, past continuous, dan grammar lainnya. Mereka tanya, kenapa sih kita harus belajar grammar? Why we are must to studying grammar? Saya jawab, ya, karena ini penting gitu aja. Sebenarnya kalau kita ngomong bahasa Inggris langsung kan tidak perlu memperhatikan grammar ya Ibu ya.
Betul.
benar kata Ibu, learning by doing. Nah, itu pertanyaan yang kadang saya sangat sulit untuk dijawab. Kenapa kita harus belajar grammar?
Iya, karena dulu ketika kita belajar bahasa Indonesia, saya berpikir bisa jadi seluruh bahasa kita harus perlakukan yang sama gitu. Ketika kita belajar misalnya bahasa ibu kita atau bahasa Indonesia kan tidak diajarkan dulu ini loh formulanya gitu. Yeah, and then it's different, I think, what we study in our classroom and in the UK. Jadi ketika di kelas bahasa Inggrisnya di UK itu tidak belajar tentang teorinya atau grammarnya bahasa Inggris. They studied about literature. Jadi mereka menganalisis novel misalnya gitu ya. Jadi ketika di kelas itu diskusi nih, misalnya untuk minggu ini kamu diminta baca dari bab ini sampai bab ini, novel tertentu ditentukan oleh guru. Nanti didiskusikan di kelas. Ya, diskusinya misalnya ini kenapa nih si apa namanya misalnya karakternya, kenapa dia akhirnya berpaling ke siapa gitu misalnya gitu. By reading, they will catch up the patterns of grammar by themselves. Makanya kenapa mereka itu sangat-sangat direkomendasikan dan mungkin ya, kita bisa terapkan juga itu untuk membaca sedini mungkin. Orang tua di sana itu sangat-sangat disarankan untuk membacakan buku pada anak-anak. Dan dengan buku kan ini ya, jarang ada buku yang misalnya grammarnya jelek gitu ya. Misalnya kita baca novel, kecuali kalau kita misalnya lagu, kalau lagu kan ada yang kenapa kita taunya misalnya aturannya kalau you itu pasangannya dengan R, kenapa jadi M misalnya gitu, atau I itu jadi R gitu. Kadang ada di beberapa lirik kita bisa temukan secara grammar salah gitu. Tapi kalau novel kayaknya secara struktur menurut saya bagus gitu. Mereka kan memperhatikan itu juga tata bahasanya. So, but yeah, it's kind of problematic in Indonesian education system karena di dalam buku teksnya atau misalnya mungkin di dalam kurikulumnya ada isian bahwa siswa harus menguasai apa namanya
Simple.
tenses, simple present tense misalnya ada
16
itu.
tenses.
Ya, agak sulit gitu. Tapi bagaimana caranya bisa jadi kalaupun misalnya tadi mereka tidak memperhatikan produk akhir tapi apa namanya kita bisa fokus ke prosesnya, bisa jadi kita alihkan mengajarkan tenses itu dengan menggunakan buku atau novel misalnya gitu. But we need to be careful karena ternyata ada sisi buruknya juga. Kenapa misalnya di UK itu ketika mereka diajarkan novel-novel roman picisan, the side effect is quite terrifying gitu. Karena ada 13 bahkan ya 13 tahun gitu itu sudah melakukan pergaulan bebas di sana. Jadi angka misalnya pernikahan dini atau pergaulan bebas itu sangat tinggi di sana gitu ya. Bahkan ada yang sudah mulai dari umur 13 tahun. Itu ada side effect-nya ya. Negatif impact-nya di sana. Jadi kita pun ketika memilihkan misalnya novel yang mana yang memang ini apa namanya masih bisa memegang prinsip ketimuran kita gitu, memegang prinsip agama kita gitu. Jadi kita harus hati-hati juga. Oke, any more thought, Bapak Ibu? Pak Darlis?
Ya Bu,
Mhm.
saya
Any thought?
ketika Ibu mengatakan bahwa pembelajaran tata bahasa itu tidak perlu kita ajarkan di kelas, saya pikir saya termasuk yang mendukung mazhab Ibu dalam hal
Good.
itu. Saya sangat sepakat karena dalam pembelajaran saya di kursus itu justru kami melihat bahwa tata bahasa sebetulnya dalam konteks percakapan membangun kemampuan bercakap. Justru kami menduga bahwa tata bahasa adalah batu sandungan buat anak-anak karena
Iya.
mereka agak terbebani di situ. Namun memang sepertinya ini kan ada juga yang mendukung dan saya merasa bahwa saya sudah mendapatkan satu judul penelitian. Saya ingin mencoba mencari apa namanya meneliti ini sebagai apa namanya untuk menguatkan benar-benar dugaan saya kemarin di kursus bahwa tata bahasa ini memang merupakan sandungan dalam pembelajaran percakapan. Dan
Oke.
mudah-mudahan nanti mudah-mudahan Ibu bisa mendukung untuk penelitian itu nanti. Saya berharap. Terima kasih.
Insya Allah dengan senang hati Pak Dalis kita nanti adakan diskusi tambahan ya. Sip. You can chat me 24/7 Pak Dalis. Ya walaupun tidak serta merta langsung saya balas ya, tergantung nanti. Oke. Any more thought, Bapak Ibu? Senang sekali pada hari ini, walaupun ini sebenarnya bukan kelas wajib jadinya ya, kelas tambahan, tapi ternyata malah di sini diskusi kita lebih hangat, lebih panas ya. Dan ya Bu Ilma,
Iya Bu, saya kira cuma 30 menit, ternyata 24 jam. 2 jam.
ya. And speaking about HOTS, sebenarnya kalau di Indonesia baru-baru sebagai tren, ternyata kan kalau kita melihat belum saja itu mendiferensiat kognitif itu dari 1956 kan. Itu sudah lama sebenarnya kalau Bapak Ibu cek di Google Scholar, tik HOTS itu mungkin dari tahun 80-an itu sudah ada istilah itu sebenarnya. Ya. Tapi di Indonesia itu mungkin kenapa baru-baru sebenarnya bukan hal yang baru sebenarnya gitu, tapi istilahnya saja yang baru mungkin dikenalkan karena ada kurikulum merdeka, ada pembelajaran berdiferensiasi bisa jadi, dan akhirnya istilah itu muncul. And then what I want to highlight for today's discussion is don't underestimate your students gitu. Jadi kalau misalnya Bapak Ibu berpikir, aduh kayaknya anak saya mah susah diajak berpikir HOTS misalnya gitu. Keep trying, ya, and then find another way. Karena seringnya kita terpaku pada buku, padahal kalau misalnya bisa dilihat materi-materi itu tidak hanya dari buku saja sekarang, banyak gitu ya. Aplikasinya juga sudah banyak, and then banyak hal yang bisa kita lakukan, and then insya Allah you're gonna amaze yourself, you're gonna amaze how clever, how smart your students are, karena bisa jadi karena mereka tuh tadinya terpaku dengan buku gitu, harus jawabannya harus sesuai dengan buku semua, kemudian akhirnya dibuka tuh si pemikirannya, so they can think out of the box. Insya Allah ya, mudah-mudahan ini ya bisa gitu, walaupun tadi quite hard time consuming, takes time, tapi mudah-mudahan bisa applicable ya. Jadi efeknya lebih long term daripada short term, lebih banyak, lebih bisa diaplikasikan di dalam kehidupan mereka dibandingkan yang hanya recall saja ya. Sometimes sampai sekarang saya berpikirnya ngapain saya dulu belajar tentang ini ya, Homo sapiens, Homo erectus, Homo apa lagi gitu ya, apa itunya gitu. Saya sampai sekarang masih berpikir saya nggak perlu belajar tentang rumus luas segitiga, rumus mencari luas lingkaran gitu, mencari rata-ratanya. I don't need it in my life. Makanya mungkin dalam bahasa Inggris kita juga tekankannya mana yang kira-kira nanti itu akan berguna bagi murid-murid kita ya, Bapak Ibu semuanya. Thank you so much. Pat your own shoulder and said, great job. Yeah, well done. You've been through a lot, but you're still moving forward, inshallah. And we'll see you in the next semester if I see you in study mandiri ya Bapak Ibu semuanya. Terima kasih banyak. Mohon maaf dan kita masih punya PR ya Bapak Ibu. E-booknya nanti kita finalisasi lagi. Ya, we will have further discussion about the books. Terima kasih banyak. Mohon maaf atas segala kekurangan. Saya tutup dengan membaca alhamdulillah, alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you Bu
Terima kasih
Maya.
banyak. Sarange.
Terima kasih.
Sarang